Welcome back to Headlines. I'm Wes Austin, and these are today's top stories. Former President Barack Obama spoke on day 2 of the Democratic National Convention, and I swear he did a little bit of campaigning for Donald Trump.
What I came to admire most about Joe wasn't just his smarts, his experience. It was his empathy and his decency.
And his ability to not see a coup coming.
The other side knows it's easier to play on people's fears and cynicism, always has been. They will tell you that government is inherently corrupt.
What? How could the government be corrupt? Coming from a guy who's worth $70 million and spent his life in government service. Bill Clinton's now worth $120 million. Nancy Pelosi worth $240 million. The government isn't corrupt, it just pays really well.
We do not need 4 more years of bluster and bumbling. We have seen that movie before, and we all know that the sequel is usually worse.
After everything that the Democratic Party has put him through, you're calling him bluster and bumbling? Barack, can't you just leave Joe Biden alone? Michelle Obama's speech on day 2 of the DNC was a masterclass in irony. She claimed that her parents were suspicious of folks who took more than they needed.
She and my father didn't aspire to be wealthy. In fact, they were suspicious of folks who took more than they needed.
So Michelle's parents were suspicious of folks taking more than they needed. And it seems the Obamas took that advice to heart. The Obamas have a combined net worth of $70 million, and they own a bunch of properties, including a mansion in Washington, D.C. worth $8.1 million. But that's not more than they needed. Look, they needed that extra square footage to store all their humility. The Obamas also have a home in Martha's Vineyard, worth $11.75 million. But again, it's not more than they needed. I mean, without it, where would they put their fleet of kayaks and organic quinoa garden? In their defense, they're not taking more than they need. They're just taking more than they could ever use, which is totally different. Michelle Obama says her parents didn't aspire to be wealthy, and she and Barack are trying to make up for it by buying a few extra mansions. Her parents might have been suspicious of wealth, but it looks like the Obamas decided to give wealth a chance, a very, very generous chance. They're not just embracing wealth, they're hugging it so tight, I think it might get pregnant. In an apparent snub to the Obamas, Kamala Harris held a rally in Milwaukee instead of attending the second night of the Democratic National Convention, where Barack and Michelle Obama were headlining. That's right, Kamala chose Milwaukee over the Obamas for a crowd of 12 people and a plate of stale cheese curds. Kamala skipped the Obama headlining night at the convention, probably because the only advice Barack ever gave her was, maybe don't run. In the past, Kamala and Biden had a complicated relationship with some underlying tension, but Biden's quick endorsement of Kamala, along with Obama's very slow and forced endorsement, had actually brought Kamala and Biden together. Bringing Biden and Kamala together is the political version of Frankenstein, except both monsters are fighting for control of the same brain cell. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer spoke on day 2 of the DNC in Chicago. He urged Americans to vote for Kamala Harris, or risk a dark night of...
Everybody!
Did anyone else just forget what I was talking about? Did he practice that beforehand? Everybody! It's going to catch on. You watch. They're going to call it the Schumer Shuffle. And when did the DNC turn into a geriatric Zumba class? A Biden-Harris Department of Energy official has called for the queering of nuclear weapons as part of a broader DEI agenda. I guess that's where the weapons come out of their silos with a non-binary nuke that's fabulous. When this hits, you'll feel both annihilated and understood. The official said that she wants to tackle white supremacy in the nuclear field. That's right. The last thing we need is a mushroom cloud that's discriminatory. Apparently, queering nuclear weapons is the new strategy for peace, because if there's one thing that scares dictators, it's a warhead with a pronoun. But you have to read really fast before it hits, because it's kind of written on the nose, Conan. It's coming in fast. In the new Biden-Harris plan, every nuclear warhead comes with glitter, because why just destroy a city when you can also make it sparkle? Thanks for watching Headlines. I'm Wes Austin. Good night.